So it's Saturday. Because I was off yesterday, I've started on Saturday today. Excuse the noise. Right, the new parts of the Defender have turned up. Now I've had the issue with the brakes locking on, but it seems to be all the brakes. So it's not just one caliper that's seized. So all I can point it to is the master or servo. So I've got replacement for those. So let's quickly change those. First job is to empty the reservoir, so I'm going to get the brake bleeder and suck all that out. So let's do that. Next job is to pull that split pin out. You probably can't see that because it won't focus, but in there is a pin that goes all the way through, and then a split pin goes through to hold it in. That's connecting the servo to the pedal, so we've got to take that off. There you go, so there's the pin, you can see that goes through, and then the split pin goes through the hole to stop it coming out. So that's that first job. Next is to undo the 4 bolts around the outside of the pedal box. So that is the old one out. There it is. So obviously it's bolted on with 4 bolts at the back, and then the actual master is bolted on with 2 at the front. I had to reuse those to get the new one on. It's a bit bigger, so it's a bit closer to my fuse box, but it's not touching. There is just enough room. So that is in. I am now going around and bleeding the brakes with the air bleeder. Because of obviously the offset of the wheels and the suspension, I can lift it up and just go around and bleed them in situ without having to take the wheels off. So let's get all these bled up. Right, so the brakes are all bled on this, so we're going to get it out. I have taken it for a quick run up and down the yard. All the wheels lock up. The brake pedal feels a bit firmer, so hopefully that might have solved the issue, but we need to probably take it home tonight and see if the brakes seize on. But anyway, today we've got a bit of a moving around. Now, this. Since we got a good progression on it the other day, and it's sort of a lot further on, I'll tell you the deal. The deal was done in 2 halves. The first deal was to get it back on the new chassis exactly as it was, as it come in. Obviously, since we've changed the engine, so we've changed the engine, but technically we're further forward than we were before than it come in, because the wiring loom's in, the column's in, the dash surrounds in, but no actual dash because we haven't got one of those. And we've connected up all the radiator and all the, basically it's a lot further than it was before. The customer has spoke to me and said, due to personal conditions, he probably won't be able to continue with it. It needs to be sold. So he is going to do some bits his end. So for the meantime, I am going to pull this out, because technically I am further than how it come in. So therefore I'm technically paid. Probably I've done a bit more than what I've been paid for, but it's been paid up to where it is now. For it to progress, we need to sort the interior out. He needs to find a dash, seats, all that malarkey, and then basically get the front end buttoned together and get it running. But if he's not prepared to put any more money towards it and he wants to get rid of it as it is, then it's going to stay as it is. So today, that is coming out and going in the barn. The disco, that is booked for an MOT on Saturday. I know it's going to fail. I know it's got things wrong with it, but we're going to do an MOT, see what it needs, and whether it's worth putting it through an MOT or selling that as it is. Either way, it's going to be sold. It's just whether it gets sold with an MOT or sold as an ongoing concern. So both of these have got to come out. I will probably bring in the BRM van, because although that needs to go off for paint and everything's loose, I think I'm going to button it down, get it running and driving, so that can go for an MOT. And technically that can be sold as it is. I have listed it already as it is, fairly loose and not complete. But if I get it all together, get it cleaned, maybe put it through an MOT, and then again sell that on as a going concern, because I'm not going to do anything with that. The reason being is, obviously with the farming job coming, I'm going to be spending, I think in the summer, most of my time doing that. To that extent, I haven't renewed my trader's insurance. So the Defender's insured anyway, separately. The MGF is insured separately. The Jag's not going to be insured till, you know, the autumn. So there's no point in having my trade policy. So yeah, that's going to be cancelled. Therefore, I can't insure all these vehicles. So I think the van was going to go anyway, but I think I'm going to try and sell it as an ongoing concern as well. So that's that. So that's probably going to come in. And then, yeah, we've got the white Rover Turbo. That needs the other arch doing, I think, and putting back together and MOTing. I mean, I think the turbo might have gone because it's a bit smoky, but it hasn't been, it's been sat and not run. So really that needs to come out and be looked at. So I think I'll get the BRM in here. And then maybe the Rover Turbo in here. And then everything else outside. So stop waffling, get on with it. Okay, so I've pumped the tyre up and this didn't have any kind of air filter in it at all. So I went in the barn and got out an air filter pipe and an air box with an air filter in. So we should be good for that. I've also checked all the fluids, we're all good. So the battery is not enough to start it. So let's jump it and get it out of the way. Right, so the BRM's in here. So we can work on just tightening everything of this up. And then getting the door cards and that back in. And then we've got to try and sort the brakes out because the brakes are really stiff and I don't know why. As in the pedal is really hard. Nothing else seems to be locked up or anything, so we need to check all that out. The turbo is out and running, but I don't think I am going to bring this in yet. I think I'm going to do this first and then bring this in afterwards. But I just brought it out, get it running up, up to temperature, pump the tyres up, etc. Don't hurt every now and then. So next job is to get the Jag out of the barn and then we can pull this out and put it where the Jag is now. Right, well that little move about's done. So this is in here ready for, well, I've got to just clean the windows and stuff ready for its MOT on Saturday. This is in here so that we can try and get it buttoned up and the brakes sorted out, and the Defender's in the barn ready for it to be collected or whatever was happening with it. The Jag's in, the MG's in because I'm going to take the Defender home. The turbo's over there, which means we've got this area free because I've let it get a bit messy, so I've got to sort this area out. But so that's all the vehicles moved. To take up the last hour this afternoon, there was loads of things hanging on here, so I've moved them all. Basically, hung them up over there. Spades, broom, and my creepers, they're all hooked up there, so they're not going to fall off. And I'm going to get everything off of this door so I can do the same as this, insulate it and board it, and then, yeah, we don't have stuff hanging, and every time we open the door, things fall off and it bangs and crashes about. It's a nightmare. And also, I put another chintz shelf up. So various bits that we found at my granddad's while we've been clearing out some old cans and bits and pieces. So I just thought I'd have a little chintz shelf just of all the old cool bits. So yeah, right, home time for today, I think. Okay, so I didn't get on with this today. I've done a bit more tidying, a bit more sorting out. I think that was a success. Driving home and back this morning, we had no brake seizing on, and normally it's pretty quick, it happened. So I think we've solved it. I do think they need bleeding a bit more. The pedal feels quite hard. I don't know if that's just a characteristic of the new brake setup, I don't know. But it needs a few more miles yet, I think. I think I'll give it a few more miles. Just let everything bed in a bit and move about, and then we'll see how it feels. But yeah, there's not even a sign of them seizing on, so I think that's pretty much a win. So batteries all topped up on that. Cleaned all the glass, all the windows to make sure, because they were absolutely filthy, and I wanted to at least appear, even though the truck's dirty, at least to have some clean glass. And I did the same on this as well, because trying to move this about's a nightmare. So yes, just done loads of tidying today, load of sorting out. So not a great deal of work, but we will be back on it. Yeah. They have a lovely noise. Hello, it's Saturday morning. You saw I've just inserted a few videos of yesterday. We decided to go over to Lake Heath and Mildenhall and watch the planes. As the weather was nice and it's a Friday, they normally do unrestricted quick climbs, so we thought we'd go and watch. I have been for an MOT this morning in this. It was aborted. There are a few things wrong with it, and it was just better just to abort it and then yeah, not waste the time really. So yeah, we'll be selling this as an ongoing concern. So anyway, have a lovely weekend. Like, subscribe and share. I'll see you next week, although there's definitely a couple of days I'm not here next week, but we'll play by ear. But I'll see you Monday anyway. Have a great one. Right, I've had this up on the lift. I have bled the brakes. Some air did come out of them, but the pedal is still really hard. I've checked for a vacuum by pulling the pipe off of the servo, and yes, there's plenty of vacuum there, so it's not an engine vacuum problem. The only thing I have done, while it's been running and I've just gone round again, I've got back in and I can hear air leaking inside. So I'm wondering whether the brake servo has actually gone to pot. So, yeah. I'm going to put the wheels back on and then I'm going to move it and see how it feels, and then actually open the door fully so I can get down and hear it, because at the minute I can only just sort of squeeze in there and sit in the car. So yeah, I'm going to get the wheels back on and then we'll have another look. Right, I haven't got that out yet, but I will do. But I had to move some vehicles around, including getting this inside. Now this has stopped locking on the key. I don't know why. So I'm just going to pull the door card off and have a look. Now we've got a screw there, screw there. There's one in the pull handle, one in the open latch, and one over there. And hopefully it should fall off. It's been a while since I've taken one of these off. I've dropped the window all the way and you can get to the bolts that hold the handle on. I can see the metal bar, the link pin that goes from the central locking motor to the handle, to the lock barrel. The bush has come out, so the metal bar is flopping about all over the place. So when you turn the key, it doesn't actually actuate the bar. I don't know why the central locking isn't working off the fob. But when you push this central locking motor down, it locks the other one. So there's obviously a connection there, but there's obviously a break in a connection somewhere between that one and the 5S unit. When I took that apart a while ago, the central console, to get to the 5S unit, I noticed that there was a bit of a dodgy wiring down there. So for now, I'm just going to take the handle out, get the bar in properly so then I can use the key to lock it. And then one day, probably after summer, once we finish using it, we'll take all the centre console out and see if we can work it out. But main priority is to be able to lock it. So through here, you can see through that gap, there's a nut there. And there's a nut on that side as well. So through these two holes, we can undo the handle. Right, the little clip that the bar goes through just wouldn't stay in the handle. So what I've done is clipped it back in. Well, I say it wouldn't go back in, it went in, but it would pop out. So I've popped it back in, put a cable tie behind it. And we now lock. Hallelujah. So hopefully the cable tie will last. We're gonna have to get a new plastic bush, I think, that will stay in the handle in the future. Okay, I've just been out on it, and no, the brakes are no different. There is hissing from the servo. So I don't know why, because it's the same one that came out the BRM that was working fine. Whether during the accident where I stamped on the brakes so hard, I broke it, I don't know. But I don't remember the brakes being bad when we moved it about when we got back here with it, but hey ho. So I've probably got to look out for a servo now. Typical. All the ones I've had have gone. I am going to check out on the barn because I might have one kicking about, but yeah, how frustrating. My tidying journey continued. I spent a while up here giving this all a good clean, a good scrub, because it gets very dusty, and tidying up and putting stuff away. Still a few more bits to do, but I needed to make room so I could start working on trucks again. We've got the RC National Truck Gathering coming up. And I was planning to build a new truck this year for the meet, but I haven't had the money. So I'm going to resurrect an older one and get this back on the roadway, shall I say. And then we've still got the others in here. And then we'll decide what we want to take to the show this year. But I need to clear the bench so I could start working on this. Also, I need to get out the TRX, the Land Rover, and get that serviced and back up and running, because I want to start using that again. Me and my friend want to go out and use them. So yes, so now I need to go and look for bits for cars. Right, turns out I do have one on the shelf, so that's a job for next week, is to change that over and hopefully get the brakes working. So that's a result. Next job is I need to change the induction kit on the Defender. So same as when I was in Wales, the induction kit got dirty and restricted airflow, so I've got to take it off and clean it. But I have got a spare brand new one of these, so I'm probably just going to swap the insert, and then I can take this one out, clean that one up, ready for when it needs to be swapped again. So that's the plan for this afternoon. Well, I say this afternoon, for the next 5 minutes. Right, that's the dirty one back out. As it turns out, I'd put it on backwards, so it was sucking through there. Well, I believe it's backwards. You'd think a cone filter, the air would go in this way and come out this way. I had it fitted so it was sucking in there through the filter out to the car. I don't know. I'm just going on what a normal cone filter would be. That would be a normal cone filter, wouldn't it? So that's the way I've put it back on anyway. So it's like that. So we'll see. I mean, this isn't the right filter for this engine. It's too small anyway, so I need to get a better solution at some point, but it's doing the job for now. I'm not going flat out everywhere, so it hasn't got to draw loads of air in, but just at the minute, I think it's compressing that hose again, because sort of flat out in second, when I was pulling away from a junction, it died again. The same sort of scenario as we had in Wales. So yeah, I'll get this one cleaned up, and then it can be ready to go back in should I need to. And then eventually, as I say, I will get a better filter. I found a few. It's just money at the minute where I'm in between jobs as such. But last night we did bleed the brakes manually. My neighbour sat in and pumped the pedal, and I went round, and they are a lot better now. The pedal's nowhere near as hard on this, and I managed to lock the wheels up. So yeah, I think that's good enough for now. So that's doing its job. Right. Oh, that can go in the outtakes. So yeah, so that's it. Now, as you saw, I carried over last week's on this week because there wasn't enough. It's really quiet at the minute, so I understand there's not a great deal of amazing content to watch. I'm in a bit of limbo between doing this, doing the farming job. So as I say, I've cancelled the trade policy now. That ends tomorrow, so I haven't got the use of that. So I'm kind of in a bit of limbo. What we're doing, my nan's house, my mum's house, and everything else. Yeah, it's a bit rubbish at the minute. Money is nowhere near where it needs to be, so I'm just hoping soon I get that phone call to go and start at the farm, and then I'll work my socks off through summer and get a bit of money in my pocket, and then maybe we can get the trade policy started again sort of autumn, and then do a bit more in here over the winter. But anyway, that's enough of me waffling. I'm not here tomorrow or Thursday, and it's a bank holiday weekend, so I will sign this off. So thanks for watching. Leave us a comment, say hello, do whatever. I won't say like, subscribe and share because there's not a great deal to like at the minute. But anyway, have a great week, have a nice long weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers guys.